morning. Good morning, Saluta. Good morning, everyone, wherever you are. Please, can you leave in the chat where are you from? Today, we're going to talk about confidence, and we were about to lose confidence this morning. We tried to connect to the platform and we didn't. It took us like 2 minutes, 3 minutes to connect, and we were going to lose confidence. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah.
So,
Well, technology always gives us a bit uh, of a challenge,
yes.
sometimes. So
Hello, James. Hello, thank you for joining us today. We're so excited to share this episode with you and with the audience. So, confidence. I have a question for you, but I would love to see more people coming in so that today me and Saluta we decided that this episode would be more interactive. We would hear more from you if possible, and your questions will give us direction. Also, we don't want to talk about confidence just like that, but if you have any specific questions, that will be very helpful so that at least we talk from a perspective to respond to your needs. So, my question I would like to ask you a moment where you felt very confident. Just take a few seconds and think of a situation where, or a moment in your life where you felt very confident. And can you leave in the chat? Hello, Sammy. Thank you for joining us. So, my question again, can you think of a situation where you felt very confident? And can you write in the chat what emotions, how did you feel in that moment? Steluta, can you think
yes,
can you think of a situation or moment in your life where you felt very confident?
yes.
How did you feel?
Well, I felt confident, that's for sure, and I felt excited. Do you want me to share with the audience the
Yeah,
moment? Because I can share it. I'm good to sharing it. All right.
yeah.
Okay. So one of the moments that it's probably in a more of a recent past, if I can say so, was the moment when I decided to leave Romania and to move to Canada. So my story is something like that. I was supposed to go to the States. I was negotiating a contract with an organization. It didn't go through as we wanted. And as I managed to sell the idea of leaving Romania to my daughter, who was 11 at the time or 10, we decided that we would be moving somewhere out of Romania, right? Leave Romania.
Mm-hmm.
And because my partner at the time is Romanian but was also a Canadian citizen, we decided to move to Canada. The moment we took the decision to move to Canada was one of the moments when I felt so confident about not only about the decision but also about our future and everything we needed to do and everything we needed to all the actions that we needed to take in order to transition, in order to move and to have the life that we want for ourselves here. And I felt excited about the future, and I felt enthusiastic, and I felt
Excited,
happy.
enthusiastic, happy. Yes.
Exactly. Those were the feelings that I had, and that was the moment when we decided. And I was 40 at the time, right? So I was not that young, and I had many people, first of all, not even believing that I would be able to do that. And many of them were really, they thought that we were crazy for doing that, especially at our age, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't care, honestly. I was so confident about the decision, about our skills, about our abilities, about everything that, we thought we would be doing, that I didn't care. I felt great. So let's see what we have here from our audience.
Yeah, thank you for sharing, James. My question is, can you think of a situation when you felt very confident, and what kind of emotions did you nurture at that moment? And Steluta shared her experience with me this morning. And she said, I felt confident, and the emotion that came after is that I felt happy, enthusiastic. Uh, a lot of times we tie our confidence to an outcome instead of our ability to figure things out. I believe you inherit from your childhood. Once you became a leader, you can build your confidence. Uh-huh. So my idea behind this question is that confidence is an emotion, right? We all feel confident, and when we feel confident, we feel positive emotions. And the emotions, they are the translations of our thoughts, of our beliefs, or our how we feel about it that moment. And so if the emotions also are equal to thoughts, then the confidence is about the the perception, the thoughts that we have about the situation in that moment. So here, my point is that if you would like to build confidence at a deep level, you need to go back and see how you think about yourself. Because very often I talk about, I think everyone has his approach at looking at confidence. And one of the things that is very confused is the difference between self confidence and self esteem. So, self confidence is what people see about you, and self esteem is how you think, how you feel about yourself. Look at the example of the car. Consider your self-esteem as the engine, and the car is self-confidence. The more the engine is strong and empowered, the car will operate very well. And this is relative to humans also. When we have a strong self-esteem, it empowers us to take actions, because self-confidence is what people see, is the actions they're going to take, is the belief, again, is the belief. And of course a belief is about thoughts and about emotions and about everything, is the belief about your abilities. And there is something that I really liked about Saluta when she said, we were not sure, but we did it. So sometimes having confidence, it doesn't mean that you master everything. Having self-confidence doesn't mean that you have everything you need to go for something. But you trust, you have the belief that you can make it, even if you don't have all the abilities and the competencies, because you can learn them. So let me.
Okay, let's answer to Diane Samir first. The subject of today's live then is building confidence, how to build confidence. That's what we're talking about. And we had people sharing with us moments in their lives when they felt confident. I shared my moment in life when I felt confident. Maybe you can share yours as well. And not only sharing a moment in your life, but all when you feel confident, but also what were you feeling also? What were the feelings that you had at the time when you felt confident? So go on, Hannah. Thanks.
So today I would like to share a video with you that goes with what I said before, because confidence starts from the perception that we have. And when we have a negative perception about who we are, it impacts every single thing in our lives. It impacts our self-esteem, it impacts how we feel about ourselves, it impacts our decisions, our choices, our actions, our behavior, our relations, our performance. And if you ask me to do this show 10 years ago, I would not be here, because I was struggling with self-confidence. I was the first person who cannot even dare to talk about self-confidence, because I had no clue how to raise that confidence. And when I started teaching self-confidence and sharing my experience, and then working with my clients, I realized that sometimes it's not about competencies or whatever, because a lot of people that I met have amazing degrees and competencies and abilities and everything. And then the confidence, sometimes it's sitting, pausing, and taking time to raise all these things at the surface. Sometimes we don't see who we are, and we keep this perception that we are not enough. And what happens, of course, as I said before, it impacts everything. Let's see this video that I love, and I have an experience whenever I share it. I have people who turn into tears. It's about a research that has been done by Dove. The audience is all women, but it applies to every single person. And we will see together how our perception about ourselves impacts our confidence, our self-esteem, and everything we do in life, and our choices and everything.
And I have to admit, this is the first time I'm going to see the video, so I'm really curious when I'm going to turn to tears or not. Hopefully, will not, though.
Yeah, well, let's go for it.
Let's do it.
Oops. Audio. Okay, I think let me upload it again.
So bear with us just for a few minutes until we manage to master the technology.
I'm a forensic artist. Worked for the San Jose Police Department from 1995 to 2011.
I showed up to a place I'd never been, and there was a guy with a drafting board.
We couldn't see them, they couldn't see us.
Tell me about your hair.
I didn't know what he was doing, but then I could tell after several questions that he was drawing me.
Tell me about your chin.
It kind of protrudes a little bit, especially when I smile.
Your jaw.
My mom told me I had a big jaw.
What would be your most prominent feature?
Kind of have a fat, rounder face.
The older I've gotten, the more freckles I've gotten.
I would say I have a pretty big forehead.
Once I get a sketch, I say thank you very much, and then they leave. I don't see them.
All I had been told before the sketch was to get friendly with this other woman, Chloe.
Today I'm gonna ask you some questions about a person you met earlier, and I'm gonna ask you some general questions about their face.
She was thin, so you could see her cheekbones. And her chin, it was a nice, thin chin.
She had nice eyes. They lit up when she spoke.
Cute nose.
She had blue eyes, very nice blue eyes.
So here we are. This is the sketch that you helped me create, and that's a sketch that somebody described of you.
So yeah, that's...
She looks closed off and fatter, sadder too. The second one looks more open, friendly, and happy.
I should be more grateful of my natural beauty. It impacts the choices and the friends that we make, the jobs we apply for, how we treat our children. It impacts everything. It couldn't be more critical to your happiness.
Do you think you're more beautiful than you say?
Yeah. Yeah.
We spend a lot of time as women analyzing and trying to fix the things that aren't quite right. And we should spend more time appreciating the things that...
Yeah, well, the idea of this video, you see how the artist, how the two pictures at the end, one comes from the perception of the person and how she looks at herself. And the second picture is how the person who met her before, how she perceived her. And the difference is amazing. The way we perceive ourselves, well, according just to this research, is that it's often negative, while sometimes people look at us just right, as she said. So what about you? I mean, I believe that self-confidence starts from our perception, the way we look at ourselves. I was this person who had very negative perception about myself. And if I was one of these women, I will the picture will be awful because I used to look at myself only from the perspective of the physical body, like I'm looking at my scars and looking at things that went wrong in my face and things and so on. But we don't see our value, our inner value, and we don't focus our on who we are and what we can do with that. So tell me, Steluta, I know that we all have different perspectives about self-confidence, because you can be confident in one area and you may not be confident in other areas. Self-confidence, it doesn't cover everything, because you need to see where you are struggling right now in order to build that confidence in that area. And because a lot of people, sometimes they have confidence but they don't have self-esteem. And as I said before, the confidence is what we see, and the self-esteem is how you feel about yourself, is how when you are home and alone and or just alone, and when you think about your value is what you think about yourself. But when you build the two together, it's amazing, because whatever happens, even if you lose a job, even if you lose your resources, you know that you can make that again. But people sometimes, there are what research proof that there are people who are confident, but they don't have self-esteem, because they keep building, like acquiring, like things and achieving, but within them they don't feel that they have value. So what is self-confidence for you, Steluta, from your perspective?
Okay, that's a good one. So what's self-confidence
Or
for
maybe
me?
how we can build, I mean, the focus today is how can we build this self-confidence. So from your experience, how can we build self-confidence?
Okay, so the way I see it is, I think there are two big ways for me to build self-confidence. So provided that we have all the skills, provided that we have everything we need, regardless of the field that we want to build, confidence in, the most important thing is self-confidence, right? So that's the thing that we want. So I think for me, there are two big ways of building self-confidence, besides working at the level that you said, making sure that the thoughts that we have, just constantly being aware, being awareness, practicing mindfulness and observing the thoughts that we have and nourishing the positive thoughts about ourselves. When we go into the real world, I think there are two ways that you can build that self-confidence. One of the ways is by taking action and succeeding. So you do something, you have a bit of success, that helps you build confidence, that nurtures the self-confidence that we have, and then we move forward and we build on that. And the other way that I think we can build self-confidence is by taking action and failing, and then assessing, and then taking action again in a different way. So I think these two for me are the best ways to build self-confidence, by doing things and either succeeding or failing, assessing, which is the most important step, and then continuing to do things. Because it is the assessing part, I find it is the critical part, because that's the point where we learn, when we allow ourselves to learn from the mistakes and move forward, instead of allowing our negative thoughts about the failure to define ourselves. Because I want to share a story that has happened recently. It's not necessarily, a story. I was part of a project over the weekend, and I was in a team of people, and there was a woman who was coordinating people voting here in Vancouver. So there were the elections here in Vancouver this weekend for the City Hall. And I noticed something very interesting. When you place the ballot into the tabulator, the machine that you have to place the ballot in, you get a message. The ballot was successfully casted. The ballot was successfully casted. That's the message, because you take an action and your action is either successful or not. The woman who was coordinating the voters was most of the time telling them, you are successful. So your action was not successful, you are successful. And this gave me kind of an insight about how most of us as human beings, we tend to couple our actions with our identity to match them. If I take an action, I'm successful, and my action is successful, I'm successful. If I take an action and it fails, I'm a failure, right? This is how most of us think. I think like that many times. Also, the fact that I practice awareness, I practice mindfulness, and I become aware of these thoughts help me change that. So I think this is the moment where this assessment part is important, in which we learn to detach ourselves from the actions, we learn from them, we improve, and we move forward.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How about yourself? How do you build self-confidence? How do you think you can build self-confidence?
For me, it took me many years to realize what I'm going to share with you, and I use that to teach my students and my clients how to build this confidence. And when I work with them, I focus on 3 aspects. To build self-confidence, you need clarity, coherence, and consistency. Clarity is the clarity of what you want first and who you are, and the ability to combine between the two. Because people who are clear on what they want in life, they build confidence easily. Because you see, the mind in general, it's proved that the mind wanders more than 47% of the time. And the people who wander are the people who don't have clear goals. But when you have clarity about what you want in life, you have more chances to build that confidence. But knowing what you want is not enough, because when you know who you are and you have this ability to combine between the two, can help you better build this self-confidence. Knowing what you want and knowing who you are. Why? Because suppose you would like to build a building, you need to assess what you have to buy that building and what you don't have, so that you see what kind of loans and things you're going to ask from the bank. It's the same thing. When you define what you want, you need to assess what you have as resources and what you don't have, and in order to so that your actions are aligned with what you want. So clarity of what you want and the clarity of who you are and your ability to combine between the two. The second thing is coherence. Something that we don't learn at school is that they maybe they or at the university we work on our goals, but we don't learn how to align our goals with our values. So our values is things that are very important to us. And that's why people who go for goals that don't match their values, they struggle, they suffer, and they go back and start from scratch because they don't find themselves in what they choose. Imagine you right now, you are having a job that don't resonate with you, or they don't reflect your values. Assume you have a great value of transparency, but you are working in an environment that push you to be hypocrite or work in ambiguity, and then you feel this confusion. It's very important to define a goal that is aligned with your values and aligned with your beliefs. And again, we don't build confidence because we have everything. No, when I started my career, I had nothing. I started from scratch, really from scratch, and there were days I had no clue how things will go, except the belief that I will make it no matter what will happen. So accepting that you can start new things, having new challenges, even if you don't have the skills, can build the confidence, because you know whatever happens, you will find the resources. So again, clarity and coherence, the coherence between the goal and the values, and the coherence between the goal and the belief. And the last part is consistency. A lot of people, they go for intensity, they go crazy, and then they start doing things and things every day, and then they stop after 1 month. No. I learned from my experience on LinkedIn, that consistency is what builds confidence. Is showing up every day for your goals, is doing things every day, every week, and every month, and keep going. And so just distinguish between consistency versus intensity. Consistency is every day you take 10 minutes, 15 minutes, or 30 minutes, and you do what you need to do aligned. You see, what I learned, the most important things in confidence is when everything you do is aligned with your goals and who you are. If your actions, your choices, your decisions are all aligned with you really what you want to do, you feel happy, you feel self-fulfilled, you feel contentment, you feel a lot of things, positive emotions. And these positive emotions, again, it's my question from the very beginning, is what creates confidence. Because when you have emotions, positive emotions, again, these emotions reflect positive belief about yourself, and this is how you keep building confidence. And of course, you don't build confidence like during 1 month and that's it and I am done. No, the confidence journey is a lifelong journey, because you may be confident in 1 year, but if you stop working on that, you lose confidence, because things are changing today a lot and you need to keep going with that. So again, clarity, coherence, consistency. So let me read some comments here. Making the correct decision will build confidence. Do you agree? Making the correct decision will depend on your ability to connect with yourself, with your values, or to learn how to listen to your gut and your intuition, to see if you're really taking a decision that is aligned with who you are and what you want. And this is what will build confidence. There are some decisions that are not right or wrong. They are just decisions, and it should match with what you want. Otherwise, they are wrong, and wrong for you only. So to have the right decision, you need to check with yourself and your beliefs and your values if it's something that you really want to go for it. Thank you, James. Powerful video. Our self-perception matter. Yes, perception really matter. Everything is about perception. Everything is about our belief system, because once we have a strong gene, everything will go fast, everything will go very well. And when the engine is not operating very well, everything will not operate very well. I would like to add to your thoughts, Talut and Hanan, both you are correct. The decision, it's not being correct or failure. It's based on facts, reference, clarity, everything. Well, thank you, Khalid. Thank you for your... Yeah. So what do you think? So please leave in the comments any other further questions. This is something that I learned from my experience, and yes, consistency really, and that's why we're here. You are consistent, showing up every week, even if we are busy, even if we have our constraints, even if we have our commitments. We are keeping consistency in what we're doing, because we know consistency is this small steps. It's the baby steps that build giant results. And this is what most people don't understand. It's not going to the gym and working for like hours and hours and then building muscles. You build muscles by going every day for 20 minutes, for 30 minutes, and you keep going every day. This is how we build muscles. The same thing.
It's if I may add, it's like one of my mentors says that by taking meaningful action every day, right? Every day towards your goal. So once you have the clarity, as you said, once you have the coherence between your values and your goal, between your goals and your beliefs, you take meaningful action every day, right? And I love the comparison because you know that I'm a health coach also. So for me, the aspect of health is important. You cannot build health. You cannot, once your health goes down the line, you cannot have it back just by taking a pill or by eating one day a salad, right? You need to improve habits. You need to consistently do things in order to improve your life and to achieve your goals.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
One of my experiences in the corporate world is that I am a person who value creativity, and I was in marketing, and marketing is creativity. But I ended up after many years in the execution and not in creativity. And you see how our values sometimes, when they are transgressed, they start being our source of our frustration, and this is when we need to take action because they are no longer aligned with what we want. That was easy to listen to that because I kept like be trying to be creative, and at the end, okay, no, Hanan, thank you for the effort, this is what you need to do. Oh, sorry. Okay. So a lot of things we do every day,
Yeah.
sometimes they don't match with our values, and our values are just what is important to us. if we are if you have a value of excellence and you work in an environment that convey mediocrity, then it's a problem. So always search for things that are valuable to you, that are aligned with your values, and keep this coherence. And of course, as you said, Staluta, once you take actions, you need to have the ability to reset, assess, and start again. And this is also about resilience, because once you build that skill of confidence, it's going to be easy for you to rebound back because you trust in your abilities, you trust in who you are, and the rest, it's really secondary.
Couldn't agree more. So yes, thank you, James. Yeah, meaningful action. I think it's really important. Well, is there anything else that we want to add for today in regards to
I
confidence?
wanted really to have more questions if we can, but if you consider that our discussions was helpful, please leave in the comment that it was helpful. If not, you can always ask your question, and yeah, I think.
And we'll do our best to answer your question, from our own experience and from, from what life taught us.
Exactly. I mean, you don't learn confidence in books. Believe me, you learn confidence through going to actions. I remember I was teaching in another city where I used to live, and I had to drive every single week 3 hours. And I was scared because I never drove alone 3 hours. I was always scared to drive alone, and I had to take the road every Monday morning and to go to another city for 2 days and come back at night. And you see, I learned to be confident not because I just stayed there and I said, "Oh, I'm confident." I had to take the actions and go and do the things, even if it's frightening to me, even if I was scared, even if I had the fear to do that. So being confident, it's not just a state of mind, it's going and doing the things even if you're afraid. Hello to you. Consistency is the word I needed to hear today. Thank you so much. The difficult part is to recollect at moments when you feel like everything you've been doing is falling apart. Well, don't worry. I built confidence when my life was falling all apart. And I just decided that I would not let that impact my life. and I took full responsibility of everything by considering myself responsible for my life and not playing the victim. It's very important because we all have challenges and we all have difficulties in life, but the challenge itself is to decide for the next step when you are in a difficulty. And I think I am blessed to have that ability to choose for what is right for me, even if it's really difficult sometimes. Thank you, Adele.
Yeah, thank you, Adele. And don't worry, keep going, whatever you're doing, even if it's not working out for you now, and don't make your actions about yourself. This is the thing that I cannot emphasize more. Do not do not attach your actions to your self-worth. The fact that you're failing at something doesn't mean that you're a failure, right? So just keep going. And many people who are successful today have a path behind us of trying and failing and trying and failing and trying and trying and trying and no feedback at all. And then finally things starting to come together. And I think it's the same case for the two of us here as well, right? Doing things and having no feedback and then continuing to do until whatever we were building on started to create a foundation that helped us move forward, right? So don't make your actions and the failure of your actions about your worth, about your self-worth, and keep doing them. Keep assessing if something is not working and keep doing.
I have Daniela who said, I agree with everything you said, but it's difficult to take actions. Yes, sometimes it's difficult to take actions. It may take many years. It depends only of us to accept. You see, the moments I learned something that I would like to share with you, by the way. The moment you feel like you are spending a lot of time in your head, I go and do it. So don't spend a lot of time in your head. The moment you feel that, oh, shall I do it? Yesterday, I woke up and I was very tired, and I was in a state of mind, shall I go to the gym or not? Because I'm tired. And the moment I felt that that conversation between me and me, I just went and I did it. That's it. You need to do it. Sometimes you need to take action. You don't spend time in your head.
Yeah.
And this is how it's sometimes it's difficult, yes. And keep going and doing things every day. Sometimes it's difficult, especially when you don't see any results. But there were days I woke up and I had no clue if what I was going to do will bring any positive thing, but I did it anyway. Because it's like a baby. A baby, when it starts walking, my first kid started walking at 1 year, my second at 11 months. But they start walking in one day, but it doesn't mean that they were not moving before that. They learned the skills to walk many months before, but one day it happened. One day they started walking. It's the same thing. When we start working on our goals, we don't see anything. But it doesn't mean that we are not moving forward. Because one day it can change everything. One day you find a job, one day you find the opportunity, one day you have something that will happen and will transform your life. This is how I keep thinking about my goals. Okay, Hanan, keep going even if you don't have any clarity of what's gonna come next. Just keep going.
So true. So both.
Thank you, Bushra.
Yeah. Yeah.
It seems to me, based on my own experience, that taking action is the key, besides going out of the comfort zone. Well, I totally agree.
Yes, couldn't agree more. And I think we have this conception that people who are successful, they knew it all before they started doing. They had it all figured out. They all had the key to success. They knew, they had this path in front of them that was, just success based on success. They had it all figured out, right? Which is not true. We spoke and we were talking to so many people who are successful in their careers, in their lives, and it's not true. So the thing that, maybe you're struggling in building something, maybe you're struggling in something in your life, doesn't mean there's something wrong with you, right? Because you're the only one who's not able to figure it out. We are all, for the first time in this lifetime, in this point in our lives, right? You're doing the best with what you have, with what you know, under the circumstances that you have, and you need to keep going, right? You are the only judge of your own life, and you're in control of your own life, and try not to make your actions. I think this is probably, if there is one thing that I would like you guys to take away from this session, from my chat today, I'm sorry, is not to attach your self-worth to your actions. Just keep on doing, keep on assessing, keep on learning from your failures, and continue to build on whatever you're building.
Yeah. Well, this brings another idea, is the detachment of the results. You see, what happens to all of us is that when we start taking actions, we automatically expect things to happen, expect what we want, and expect this and this. And the reality is that sometimes we may not get it right away. It may take time. So one of the things that is key in working on your goals is to detach yourself, to detach yourself from the results, which means also that you keep going, but you enjoy the moment, but let things happen. It's like a farmer. He will plant seeds, he will water, he will do whatever it takes, but he doesn't go every day and check, oh, is it coming? Oh, is it, there's any plants showing up? But he will trust that it's going to come at the right season. It's the same for us. Sometimes we need to plant seeds, and it depends if you are planting seeds, by the way, or not. So you need to plant the seeds, take actions, and let it go. It's gonna come at the right moment, because sometimes there are opportunities that don't come, not because you are not worth it, but because you are not ready. I coach many people where they told me, I remember I had a case study of one of my clients who told me, I want a job, but I'm not ready. I told her, well, look, you will get the job when you are ready, because the opportunities, they work like this. They don't show up in your life because you want them. They show up in your life because you are ready to take them, and that you believe. I love this quote from Oprah. You get what you believe, not what you want. So believe it's gonna come at the right moment, and just let it go. I think this is one of the things that I learned from my experience, and that's why today, whenever I don't get the things, I say, well, okay, I keep going, because maybe I'm not ready, or maybe something better is coming, and I just trust. And I know it's tough sometimes. I know it's tough, because when we need that job, when we need that opportunity, it's very difficult to let go. Okay, well, sometimes we need to. It was wonderful talking to you, and it was wonderful also reading your comments and your questions. And we are so happy that we can share our experience with you. Thank you so much for attending, for your presence, for your questions, for being here. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Daniela. Yes, the day will come, I'm sure. And we have another comment: confidence comes from believing that things will be okay no matter what. So true. Thank you so much from my side, from being here, for your contribution to this live. Have an awesome, awesome rest of your week. Keep taking action, keep trying, keep failing, and keep learning and trying again. Stay safe, stay well, and see you next Tuesday, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.